I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. Happy New Year to everybody. Our first order of business is nominations for new officers for the coming year. I will take nominations for the office of president this time.
I'd like to nominate Diana Phillips.
Okay. Hold on, let me get all of this.
Do you need a second for?
Yeah, I need a motion.
Well, you need to know if there's any other nominations.
Is there any other nominations at this time for president?
Don't everybody jump.
Okay. All right.
Nominations, yeah.
Okay, nominations are closed. And do I have a motion for,
Vote first.
okay. Do I have a vote for, I'm sorry, I'm new at this. Do I have,
Just put all in favor, just all
All
in
in
favor of
for
that.
Diana?
Yeah.
All in favor for Diana Phillips for the office of president? Those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so Diana will assume the role as president for the coming year. All right, do I have a nomination for vice president?
I nominate Daniel Phelps.
Any other nominations? Okay, close nominations. Okay, all those in favor of Daniel Phelps assuming the role as vice president for the coming year?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Motion carried.
I just mean Phillips.
Okay.
Keep
Phillips and Phelps.
I just,
D&D.
All right.
yeah.
So the next would be the secretary.
I want to nominate Lindsay.
Okay, any other nominations for the role of secretary? Okay, we'll close the nomination for secretary. All those in favor of Lindsay assuming retaining that role?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Lindsay will continue as secretary. We have the office of treasurer. Nomination.
It's your turn.
I nominate Tamara for
Okay.
that. I'm so tired, I'm sorry.
That doesn't leave very many people, so we'll close the nominations on that. All those in favor of Tamara as continuing the role of treasurer?
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed? Okay, Tamara, you're officially treasurer again. All right. Before I turn it over to Diana as the new president, I just want to say thank you to everyone. It has been a true learning experience over the past 2 years. A special thank you to everyone on the board here. I think we learned a lot over the past couple of years. Going forward, I wish everyone the best and look forward to seeing what happens with the tourism in the future. So thank you.
We'd like to thank you for your service. You've been
Definitely.
a very good president.
It was a pleasure to work with you.
Thank you.
Under extreme circumstances at times, and you've done a very good job of it, so.
I appreciate
Thank
that.
you for
Thank
that.
you guys, each one. Thanks. Okay, Madam President.
We're going to allow you to sit here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to move. You're just
All right.
You can stay.
Okay, we have the reading of the minutes. Since I did not forward these to Lindsay, I'm going to read them from my notes, so bear with me. The meeting of the December 11th, 2019 Tourism Board that began with the Pledge of Allegiance. Lindsay was not here, so we didn't have the minutes that then. The Treasurer's report by Tamara. The current balance was $21,672.89, minus the $3,583.10 for the bicentennial that is still there, that belongs to the bicentennial committee, and then a bill is outstanding for $2,250 for the plaque, the bicentennial. The motion to accept the minutes was by Daniel, approved by Diana. This motion carried. I take that back. The minutes were read by President Amy Hammonds. Like I said,
From
bear
the
with
email.
me.
It was from the
From the
email.
email. So, no additions or corrections. Tamara made the motion to accept. Daniel seconded. Motion carried. Diana Phillips presented options for the advertisement in the East Central Indiana Livability magazine. Was voted to choose the full-page ad in the Discovery section, which is the first 5 or 6 pages of the magazine. And the cost for that, total cost for that is $6,500. That actually does include coverage in the livability section and the online presence also. Motion to accept that was by Diana, approved by Daniel. Motion carried. We voted to table the grant request by Adrian Ellis for the Armed Forces Parade. Was tabled until January. Don't know if he's here, so we may have to do that again. Was tabled until January. Daniel Phelps asked if Imagine Performing Arts grant request should be denied due to the restriction of 1 request per entity per calendar year. Motion was made by Diana Phillips to do that, seconded by Tamara. Daniel abstained. The motion was carried. New business, Mike Sparks, Board of Veterans. The stories of veteran stories are still going on. That part of the Bicentennial Committee, or that part of the committee, is still active, and he wants to continue that effort as long as there is interest. He advised any period of service, not necessarily a war effort, would be welcome. Channel 3 and the Fayette County Foundation is assisting. Anyone who's, and this still goes, anyone who's interested or would like to give their story to this committee can contact Mike or Jenny Sparks or the Fayette County Foundation. These stories will be presented and are being presented on TV3. The sign in the park has been approved to be displayed in the park by the park board. Diana Phillips suggested a joint brochure effort and a motion to adjourn. The next meeting will be January 8th with election of officers. Diana Phillips suggested, motion to adjourn was made by Diana, approved by Tamara, and this motion was carried. Respectfully submitted by Diana Phillips. not too professional, but there it is. So do I have a motion for acceptance of the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. I'll have the treasurer's report.
The current balance is $18,223.90. Of that, included in that amount is still the $3,583.10 that's left from the bicentennial.
But the $2,500 has been paid for the plaque, right?
No, we need to do that tonight.
Okay, so that's still,
But still, good.
and then we're also going to have the other one.
You would have the livability and the plaque.
Okay. Okay. Okay, do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
Okay.
I make a motion.
Okay, Daniel,
Accept.
have a second? I'll second it. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Old business, we do need to issue a check, which we just mentioned, for half of the payment for the East Indiana Livability advertisement. I will say that I did submit that, and we should have a proof by sometime next week. And we'll get to review that before it's finalized. That's printed in April, comes out in April, so.
And how much was that?
Half would is, half of 6,500 is.
65?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I am still pursuing participation with that. I have secured a commitment from the commissioners and from EDG. And I'm going to the Historic Honor Zone meeting tonight. So, and then I have some other people we're going to contact also, so. Hopefully we won't have as much, it can take care of most of the next payment. Do we have to take a vote to approve that check? I mean, we've already approved it.
No, it's already approved.
We don't have
Yeah,
to,
we
yeah.
already-
Okay. Any other new business, or old business, I'm sorry?
We need to, and we can't forget that we need our website fees to be
Hosting.
paid. Yeah, our hosting fees need to be paid soon to Angel Perez.
Do you know if he's gonna invoice
He,
us?
he
or-
hasn't invoiced me yet, but
Okay.
someone might want to reach out to him by an email and ask him for that. And then two, I'll just say something for old business real quick. Someone, and it had been me the past 2 years, that had requested each quarter
Yeah, I was
from
gonna
the,
bring that up.
from the treasurer
Yeah.
to receive our tax, innkeeper's tax. They don't just automatically give it to us.
Oh, okay.
So from Lavonda Glover and Jane, I usually had emailed both of them, copied them both in, just requesting the most recent quarter's innkeeper's tax.
And the last one we got, was in November, is that right?
It was it was through the end of October, though.
Okay.
Or through the end of September, but then it takes a little bit of time for
November.
them to get it, so
October, so it'll be,
probably
I think
the
we
first of
did that, didn't we
February
have
it?
before.
Yeah, I think.
You could
we
go ahead
had-
and request it, though,
I think
just
we
so
had
it's a-
that in November or December. Can't remember when that check came in, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
can look later.
normally they just leave it in
I
the
deposited
the
the
mail.
first week in November, so it must have came the end of October.
So I need to contact her and request it before
By
it
email.
does, by email.
They want it by email, not verbal.
So I'll have to I'll get her email address. Okay. Now that's quarterly.
What's our web hosting fee, do you know?
Do what?
Web
No,
hosting
I'll have to
fee.
look it up.
Tamara might have that, web hosting fee.
Yeah, I have it here.
Just out of,
And then two, something else, old business that I'll just throw out would be geocaching.
We've already
We were
talked
talking
about
about
that.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, you might share what you
The ongoing
received
cost.
in the
Oh.
mail, because it was pretty neat.
Yeah, we got a gift from them that I can send out into the world. So they gave just a card, a thank you card, and attached to the front of it is a geo coin. And they gave me like the trackable number for it and everything. And yeah, so we can
So
send
you
it out in
can
the world and
That's
track
the
and
one
see
that-
where it goes.
Whoever finds it takes it somewhere
Mhm.
and hides it. And
Yeah,
then-
puts it in a different geocache.
a geocache.
Yeah.
is
Sounds
the-
cool.
Yeah, I got one that.
And it's a
originated in
headquarters
Arizona one time.
geocache, or geocoin too, so.
So that could be an incentive for people to
So,
do that,
It is-
because you're not gonna
Yeah.
tell where you're gonna put it.
So I may drop it in, out of all of the caches that we have, I may drop it in the least visited one as an
Okay.
incentive to get people out there.
Hmm.
And then, secondly, we need to, discuss renewing our Geo Tour fee before May, I believe it is.
And
So
you know how
probably
much that
next
is?
meeting, I'll have to double check.
So
I
can,
think it was probably around 3,500.
I think you're right.
so we can see where this coin goes, can other people see where it's come from?
Yeah.
Oh, so they would draw them back here.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
So can you not just, could someone just not, would it have to be in one of the current ones here, or could you just
No,
not
it
take
could
it
go
somewhere
anywhere.
else and?
Yeah, but I think we can also assign it a goal. So I think the goal might be to visit all 30 of our caches by different people.
Oh.
That way the same person
So
can't
keep
drop it in all of them.
Keep it in the
Okay.
county
Mhm.
first.
And then outside of that, we can talk about maybe what goals we want it to go.
After that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Go out into the world and come back and
Yeah.
find this.
Yeah. Just catch it all the way.
Mm-hmm.
does that mean? Did Libertas Quirkus?
Quirkus? I don't know.
Libertas.
It is an e-card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty,
Mhm.
pretty cool.
It's neat.
I think it's good, you're not gonna tell where it's gonna be, so
Mhm.
encourage people
Yeah, it's neat.
to do that.
Hold on,
Any
let me
other-
get caught up.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
In my spare time now, I can become a geocacher.
Yeah.
There you go.
Take your kids. They'd love it.
Yeah, they would.
Spell, come on.
We did the, right, we did the business yearly, so we didn't do the pro,
No,
it was
here's,
business, okay,
this, you might want,
For the website?
yeah.
oh, for the website, you mean, this is
I'm-
for the,
Yeah,
you mean
for
for
the
the livability?
No,
Oh,
for the
okay.
website.
I'm caught up.
I think it was
for the next-
$4.79 a year, what we pay.
She's caught up, right?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm caught up.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. Any other old business? Okay, new business, Catherine? Catherine Good of the Parks and Recreation is applying, or is posting a grant for concert series.
Yeah, I'm here tonight to ask for money to start a concert series here in town. Some of the things that I have been asked the most about at the park are, why don't we have movies and why don't we have concerts? And you guys have already helped me out with the movies. We do have our screen now. Have you seen the picture, how it's gigantic?
I saw the screen.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna bring a lot of people out to our different parks. I'm very excited about that. And so another thing that I would love to start addressing is a concert series. I know a lot of people are traveling to Rushville. I've done a fair amount of research into concerts. I've talked with, so the way Rushville works, from what I understand, is they work with a guy out of Greenwood, and he is basically, I don't know the right term for it, but he manages all the bands that they bring in. So he decides which genres are popular, which bands are popular within those genres, and then he kind of determines which bands come to town. The thing that is very difficult and kind of backward to me about a concert series is I can't come to you as I would like to and say, these are the 5 concerts I'd like to put on this summer and this is exactly how much they cost. It works backward. You fundraise first and your budget determines how many shows you have and what bands you can afford. And I learned that from talking to the manager at Rushville. So it's very backward to me, but I'm trying to roll with it. So my first order of business is to get money. We're actually already a little bit behind the times. He said they usually start booking bands in September or October. So we're already a little bit behind. We're not trying to compete with Rushville. I'm just trying to benchmark, what their process is. So, and we would definitely be working with them as well, because we don't want to have concerts on the same weekends. That would be really silly. We want people from there to come here. We want our people to go there. We want that back and forth. So I started talking with Amanda Falk, who does our community festivals, and we were talking, and she said, I have a lot of contacts in concerts as well, because the guy from Greenwood had told me it would be $40,000 to $50,000 to run 6 concerts comparable to the concerts that Rushville runs. So I know it's not within my reach this year to raise $50,000. The best piece of advice he gave me was to start small, because you can always build, but you don't want to try to go out and, and fall on your face, basically, if you try to go out and do 6 concerts right out of the gate. Start small and build on that. So Amanda and I were talking, and she said, I think with my contacts that I could probably, we thought she could probably do for Connorsville what this guy out of Greenwood is doing. So, and I think that's probably a good place to start. I do have another sponsor. I have asked for $5,000. I think it's going to come through, but my gut is telling me they're probably waiting to see where I get tonight. My idea was to say, I didn't want to have 15 people on the back of a t-shirt. That's why I came in at 5,000. I wanted it to be tourism and the other person. That way, 2 people are really highlighted. It's not 100 people. You know how the t-shirt can sometimes get very crowded because people are only able to do so much. So ideally, I would love to get 2 sponsors to run. So Amanda and I thought, we could do 3 concerts out at River's Edge because it will be open. We can serve alcohol out there, which will drive our concession sales. She has her bartender's license and seems to know everything about serving wine and beer, and has a trailer and all that stuff. Then I was talking to someone else at Calvary Baptist, because Amanda and I had also talked about, well, we should have a really big Christian concert at Roberts Park. We thought that was a good venue. The alcohol issue probably wouldn't be a thing because, Christian concert. So I was talking to somebody from Calvary who said, we had a concert last year, and I think he said they brought in like 1,500 people into Calvary Baptist Church. And I said, well, good grief, we could fill the amphitheater. It'll hold 2,000 people, plus we have the lawn on the sides. So where I'm at right now, why my budget is $15,000, is because the band that they are wanting to bring in is about, I think he said 5,000 or 6,000. So I'm hoping to work with Amanda on River's Edge and possibly work with the church on the Roberts Park concert. Because gosh, if we could sell, even at $10 a piece, 2,000 tickets, that's a good
That would cover your
profit there.
budget.
And then we would split that money between the park and the church. So that's my plan right now. And again, if my ask is too much, that's okay. I'll just work on more people to get involved. But I do feel a little bit of urgency just because I know that bands are already setting, or a lot of them may have already set their schedules for the summer. Bands are setting their schedules right now. Other types of grant programs take a lot longer to find out if you get funding or not. And I do think it would be good, a match for tourism, especially with those concerts out at River's Edge, because you may not want to drive home if you've been celebrating. I hope you don't drive. But yeah, and I think just the lateness of the event too might encourage some people to stay overnight, so that's my request.
This money is a sponsorship, but there would be advertisement on the shirts. You would also use the money
It
for
would be on
advertising
everything.
for.
Yeah, I'm just, in my head, I'm picturing that t-shirt that has like 15 business names on the back, and you're looking at it like, now who sponsored the event?
And then you'd also
But
use
it would be
for
on everything,
TV,
so
radio.
we're gonna have a new website. So our website, Facebook, we have Instagram, any printed materials that we do. And I just thought it would be nice to just really be able to highlight 2 places instead of give enough credit to a whole bunch. But we're up for whatever work we need to do. If we need to go and find 5 places who can give 1,000, I mean, I'm game. So
So this I think the stipulation is that this is for advertising
That's-
and,
I think that's why you were asking
Yeah.
Yeah.
if it was gonna be used for.
yeah, because it says to pay a booking manager and the fees for the bands. I don't know that we can do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because our grant requests are for advertising.
Oh, okay.
So, how much do you think, what do you think as far as advertising? $2,500? Would that be enough for your advertising?
I really
Kind of
hadn't
in that
thought
area, do you-
truthfully about the advertising. I was just trying to pay for the bands.
Now, there is one, I do know, we have an agreement with the festival guide,
Mhm.
not for the printed edition this year, but for the online version. So when we get the details, give them to us and we can feed that in and it will be put on the festival guide
Okay.
online website, which would
Okay.
help too.
Yeah, as far as advertisement, I wouldn't have an issue covering whatever advertising you need to do.
Right.
But yeah, that's the way that the grant is written now.
Oh, okay. So it's
Yeah.
different from them last year.
We're finding.
No, it's actually,
Oh.
that's one of the things that we found out.
Clarification.
Yeah.
Our
I
understanding has
see.
changed.
But it is a good
Yes.
thing, it is a
Yeah.
good thing.
It's
It
like,
is-
I'm sorry to waste your time.
No, you're not. It is a good thing that you've applied for all three of the
Yeah.
concerts
Because we have a
because,
grant now for you.
yeah, because you
And
can only
not-
apply once a year. Each
Yeah.
entity can only apply once a year for a grant.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're.
So
one-
it's just for advertising dollars. So if we do get ready to do banners and things like that, then we could come to you.
That way, if you
Right.
can get, yeah, if you can get like an estimate of newspaper, radio.
Right.
Mhm.
The banners, the T-shirts.
The T-shirts, all that.
So we could have T-shirts printed and then we could keep
Right.
the profit then if we sold T-shirts?
Whatever,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
as long as it's.
As long as it's advertising.
As long as it's advertising, yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then that would help defray the cost too. What's your pleasure as far as, I mean, do you want to do it up to 5,000 or?
I say let's maybe table it until
Mhm.
You
you
have
can
an
come back
estimate?
with how much you'll need for the advertising.
Yeah, I can do that.
And then, we can definitely cover advertising.
Right.
It's just,
Okay.
yeah.
Come back to us with
So I
a
have a question.
advertising budget.
Another one of my dream plans for the year is to get our new website out and to start marketing our parks more to our surrounding areas. Because there is no Miller Building in Richmond. I mean, there's Olive Garden, but there's no Miller Building. There's really, I have not found comparable facilities to, we have great facilities here that people can use for events. I would like to do, it sounds kind of cheesy, but a billboard campaign, because people do look at those things. Is that something that I could apply? Or does it have to be, could it just be to advertise the park, or does it have to be to advertise a specific thing?
Well, now, could you
Whatever you
incorporate?
would want it to be, but
Could be.
it can only be one grant
So
from
if
you
you have those
per year.
ideas,
I would
Put
include
'em all
that
together
with
in
your
one.
Into
concert
one
series
grant, rewrite your
advertising.
grant and include that, like your billboards could include the concert series and the
Okay.
other, you know, if you want to maybe rewrite the grant, not necessarily for the concert series itself, but for the,
Yeah, I would just have to redo all that.
whatever you
Yeah.
have going on that you could
Because you
come
can
up
only
with
have
for
one
the
grant.
year.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to pick between the two, and I
Yeah.
went with
But
the,
you could
because I was like, oh,
incorporate-
I need to get these bands.
but it might work
Yeah.
for both. I mean,
Yeah, you
this would, you
could,
could incorporate
yeah.
all that because the billboard campaign may have the, you know, everything listed or whatever.
That would
And
be
then
great.
take care of all that.
All right, well, I will come back. You haven't gotten rid of me yet.
Sorry, it's kind of a dead end tonight.
You're fine.
Yeah.
We can't help you, just not
Yeah,
in
I
the way
get
that
it. I
right
get
now.
You might,
Right.
you might think of other things that fall into advertising for
Right.
these things.
Now, do you
For the
have,
whole-
and
Of
you
course.
have to spend the money within this calendar year?
Yeah. There's only so much we can give too, but
Right, we would have to have a
Okay.
ceiling, you know, you,
Right.
up to so much or whatever
Okay.
during the year.
we want to be able to help you as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because those billboards aren't cheap.
But you're right, our park is, yeah.
And I think just a little bit more advertising, and then finding out as well, like, we do have an agreement with our radio station, but like getting on, you know, radio stations out of Wayne County and things like that is gonna cost money, and those aren't cheap either, so
So
we'll put a plan
incorporate-
That's
together.
Incorporate-
advertising.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
incorporate,
So just advertising, once a
Yes.
year,
and
and,
just if nothing else, list everything,
right.
everything that you're gonna do, and then
We'll
That's-
include
have
that
to
in that grant.
price
It's
and
per organization, so if you were working with someone else for an event, they could also apply for
Apply
a
for
grant for an event you're doing together. But that means that they would only be
Right.
able to
To-
have one
They
grant.
would
But if they're
use-
not, but if they're not gonna do anything else, you know,
Yeah, as long as it's a nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, cool, well, thank you guys.
so.
Like,
I'm gonna head out because I have to pick one up at practice. I'm not mad about your decision. I gotta go get one at basketball.
It's okay.
Thank you.
So as
Thanks,
far as
Catherine.
the current grant.
So we're gonna, do we have a motion to take, Catherine,
Yeah,
do you wanna just withdraw this application?
I would like to withdraw.
And rather than tabling it, just withdraw it and you'll resubmit
Yeah,
another one?
because it's not a fit, so.
Okay,
Is that
okay,
all right?
yes,
Okay, thank you.
I think that's probably where to go.
Bye.
and I'm just gonna write on here that
Withdraw, yeah. That'll be better than tabling it, because that way it's still.
Take this off my phone now.
Okay, any other new business? And I think, maybe, I don't know, just wait until Adrian comes back. It's still tabled, so he isn't.
Well, I don't think we need another motion to table it or anything.
No, because we've already made one, it's just, he's not here now, so we can't really do anything about that either. Anything from the audience? Mike, do you have anything to, okay.
Our grant audience of one.
If, I don't think we've forgotten anything major, so if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, meeting adjourned.
Alright.
Thank you.